Hey guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Hope you're all doing well. So in today's video we will discuss the best small phone of 2022. All the product links are given in the description below, so without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. Narrowest display, Sony Xperia 5 III. This product is driven first and foremost by Sony's preference for a 21:9 aspect ratio display, which is intended to be ideal for watching movies. It helps that it's also a premium phone with a built aluminum frame and a protective Gorilla Glass 6 coating on both the front and back. The slim shape isn't the only aspect in which the 5 III is an unusual phone. For one, it still has a 3.5mm headphone jack, an increasing rarity, especially in high-end devices. Sony has done much to hype the 4K 120Hz panel. While the 5 III doesn't quite match that resolution on the smaller scale, it doesn't need to. This is an OLED panel, so you can expect great colors and deep blacks. It offers a choice of different color modes, a vibrant standard mode and a more natural skewing creator mode, along with an auto mode that decides when to apply. Audio is another point where Sony excels. There's the headphone jack mentioned before and stereo speakers for when you want to listen out loud. The 4500 mAh battery itself is a fairly typical size these days. Though given that the phone itself is fairly small, it's at least welcome that the battery capacity isn't similarly diminutive. The camera on this is a funny old beast, with phenomenal hardware let down by so-so software, unless you have the photography prowess to go manual and treat this like a DSLR. The problem stems partly from the fact that Sony intends this to be a smartphone for photographers, not everyday users. Given the company's camera pedigree, you can see why it might take the approach, but it has apparent drawbacks. This runs Android 11 out of the box. Like other Sony phones, this is a version with minimal modifications from the manufacturer. The display is top-notch, the audio options are unparalleled, and the small form factor is likely to be a big drawback for some users, and its relative rarity, especially for a phone with a flagship chipset and camera. Best camera, iPhone 13 Pro. This comes in 5 colors. The front and the back are protected by Apple's ceramic shield glass. A squared-off stainless steel grip runs along the sides, setting it apart in quality from cheaper aluminum of the iPhone 13. All the standard buttons are preset, including the ring silent switch and volume buttons on the left and the power button on the right, to activate Siri and toggle on the screen on and off. There are also bottom-firing speakers on either side of the Lightning port. This is a slim 7.65mm, but quite heavy at 203 grams. The display has a 6.1-inch Super Retina OLED screen with great color accuracy, a 2532 1170 resolution, and 460 pixels per inch PPI density. Its sharp and bright viewing angles are great and can hit 1000 nits in brightness with a boost to 1200 nits for HDR content. Outdoor visibility is excellent even in direct sunlight, and the screen supports HDR10 and Dolby Vision. It has the latest and greatest A15 Bionic processor inside and comes with 6GB of RAM and various storage options, including 128GB, 256GB, 512GB, and 1TB. You get 3 12-megapixel sensors, a 12-megapixel wide-angle, a 12-megapixel telephoto, and a 12-megapixel ultra-wide-angle camera that can take a 120-degree field of view snaps. This camera array translates into truly incredible photo outcomes. It comes with iOS 15, and we took a deeper dive into its individual features. Still, the notable ones include improved modification summaries, text scanning in the camera app, tabs for Safari, and future support for storing immunization records and other data. Most of all, it is hugely reliable, whether streaming music, watching a video, taking photos, sharing documents with macOS, printing through a wireless printer, using Bluetooth headphones, sending messages, using Zoom, or practically any smartphone-related task. This will quickly and effortlessly handle them all. Best Foldable, Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3. This is a delicate balance of incredible engineering and impressive style. Its unique hinge and flexible display won't go unnoticed wherever you go. In addition to extreme engineering, the handset is a triumph of ergonomics. Its compact form factor is a breath of fresh air in a sea of large and unwieldy smartphones. Flip it open and it is slim as any conventional flagship phone. Owing to the use of aluminum alloy and perfectly tuned hinge resistance, it is incredibly sturdy. What's more impressive is the Samsung has made the device water resistant. The flexible display on the Z Flip is the star of the show. Developed in-house by Samsung, it is a 6.7-inch Full HD OLED panel with a resolution of 2640 by 1080p pixels. The company has tuned the screen for a 120Hz refresh rate. With a peak brightness of 1200 nits, the display has HDR10 Plus support. It has a punch hole design to accommodate a selfie camera. The crease is noticeable whenever you swipe in the middle, but it is barely a distraction. It is a futuristic device that brings back the charm of yesteryear's clamshell mobiles. Flipping the device open and answering a call takes you back to the 2000s. Samsung has been thoughtful with software customization too. Based on Android 11, the highlight of Samsung's One UI skin is the Flex mode. It comes with a dual camera setup. It comes with a 12 megapixel standard and 12 megapixel 123-degree wide lens. And its unique form factor opens up many possibilities in photography. For starters, in the partially open position, the phone's bottom half works like a tiny tripod. If there's one department where this drops the ball, it has to be the battery life. It is a compact device, so it's no surprise that it holds a small 3300 mAh battery. It sports a futuristic look without compromising on elegance. It's unique enough to trigger a sense of astonishment among people, yet never looks out of place. Sure, it is held down by an underwhelming battery life. Additionally, most people won't find it practical. Best Android, Google Pixel 6a. This continues to use OLED panels for its low-cost Pixel A phones when makers of comparably priced handsets often turn to LCD. Someone draft a memo to Apple about the iPhone SE screen. OLEDs offer deeper blacks and better contrast, which comes through when watching a video or playing games on the Pixel 6a's 6.1-inch display. It uses a 12 megapixel sensor compared to a 16 megapixel on the Pixel 5a. However, the sensor itself is more significant this time, so it will likely let in more light when you turn to its ultra-wide-angle lens. The primary shooter still uses a 12.2 megapixel sensor. Battery life has proven to be quite a puzzler with the Pixel 6a. Google promises up to 24 hours of regular usage from the phone, with an extreme battery saver mode increasing that to 72 hours by turning off features and pausing many apps. This ships with Android 12, and with 3 years of software updates, you'll get Android 13 when it arrives later that year. However, Google's policy feels a little lacking in a world where Samsung now guarantees 4 Android phone updates, including the Galaxy A53. Hopefully now that it's making its own silicon, Google will get a little more generous with its software updates. Best overall, iPhone 13 mini. This looks similar to its predecessor with one notable change, the notch. It's about 20% smaller this year according to Apple, and it's certainly noticeable. It's nice to have more screen real estate even if the notch is still there. This features the same squared off edges and the small size is still easily pocketable. I could use it in one hand effortlessly. All the models are IP68 certified, meaning that the 13 mini can survive up to 6 meters underwater for 30 minutes. It compares quite well to the iPhone 12 mini and Galaxy S21, with some slightly stronger saturation than Samsung's phone. The Delta E color accuracy score, where 0 is perfect, shows a slight edge over the S21. It has several camera upgrades this year. The primary 12 megapixel camera has a larger sensor that lets in more light, improving photos in poor lighting condition. There's also sensor shift optical image stabilization, which Apple introduced on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, which should help things stay even more stable than traditional OIS. With the new A15 Bionic system on chip, which includes a quad-core GPU, in fact it destroys the best Android offers, even the best gaming phones. Apple doesn't disclose iPhone battery capacities, but the company said it improved the iPhone 13 mini's battery life by up to 1.5 hours over its predecessor. In our testing, that ended up being accurate. It debuts with iOS 15, a pretty significant update. It sports new features like tweaked notifications, focus mode, FaceTime improvements, and upgrades to many core apps such as Safari and Notes. We already have some excellent coverage on iOS 15, which I encourage you to check out to see exactly what's new. This continues the legacy laid down by the 12 mini last year. It's the best small phone you can buy, outpacing anything Android can offer. Fans of smaller headsets will love this phone, as it fits in many a pocket. That's all for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. If so, please like, share, and subscribe.